You're listening to Houston Real Estate Radio. Thanks for spending your Sunday afternoon with us. We appreciate you listening in, and we've got a treat for you today. We've got more people in our studio today than I think we've ever had. It's a crowded room in here, and it's a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys in here with me. I'm the only female, so it's going to be fun. So today we are talking about something interesting, but before we get going, make sure you give us a like over on Facebook. That address is facebook.com/Houston Real Estate Radio. We've got Tim O'Neill back in the house because Tim O'Neill is our preferred insurance dealer for State Farm. He does a great job for us, and he was on a few weekends ago talking to you about storm insurance. So we've got Tim back on talking with us. We've got Joe Orsack on, and Joe Orsack is with Improve My Credit USA. He's in the house, and Chris Kelso, who I've known Chris Kelso a very, very, very long time. I have a video that's a little scary of us from 6 years ago?
I think it was back in our old radio days, right?
It was a long time ago. So Chris Kelso's here with Willow Bend Mortgage, and Rob Cook is in the house. And Rob Cook,
good afternoon. Thank you for having us on.
Thanks for coming on. You guys make up the Real Estate Rat Pack, and we appreciate you coming on the show. Tell us a little bit about the Real Estate Rat Pack.
Well, the Real Estate Rat Pack, actually, its genesis was started off on another show that Chris Kelso was doing. And we all sat there and go, this is probably work. We ought to think about doing a show. And so we talked about it for about a year and a half, and then finally said, let's just do it. And that's what we did. We found a venue and stepped up and started doing it. And we've been doing it for over 2 years now.
A lot of fun. All right. Well, we've got some serious issues we want to talk about this segment. I want to start with TREPAC. So one of the things that realtors are very knowledgeable about, well, we hope they're knowledgeable about, is the PAC, and because the PAC is raising funds to be able to go out and really educate our legislators, and that is so important. So I want to talk to you a little bit about TREPAC. And I know that we've got some TREPAC investors here in the room. So Tim O'Neill, I know you work a lot with TREPAC, but before we get started with Tim, I want to hear from Rob, because I know from the real estate side of it, you're a major investor for TREPAC, just like I am. Tell me what benefits you see for TREPAC.
TREPAC, I used to be a non-political animal years ago, and then I started going up and volunteering at the Texas Association of Realtors, and I realized what we did as an association, which is to educate our legislators as to how this may impact real estate, and we are about private property rights. Mm-hmm. That's our main focus. So I started realizing they need that money, because otherwise they can't have access. And it's not like we're buying votes. It's just we're getting in there in front of them. And now we've trained the legislators to come to us before they make decisions, which is really kind. We've got some powerful lobbyists up there that are on our staff, and then we have some hired guns as well. But they've learned that basically, how are you all going to look at this in the future? And so we kind of say this is good for property owners, or this is bad for property owners. Mm-hmm. So it was a great process. So I became a huge believer in it, and I'm a Sterling R, which is $1,000 each year. And I think that's my compatriots over here. I think that's the same amount. I made Chris do it one time.
And now he's a believer?
And then he's a believer. So
Chris, as an affiliate, since you're not a realtor, because a lot of affiliates don't realize that they can contribute to TREPAC. So as an affiliate, tell me your perspective on TREPAC.
Well, one of the things that's happened is, if you look at 2008, whenever we had the debacle associated with, mortgage and real estate and just everything in general, things changed a lot. And one of the things that's happened is we've had CFPB come along, we've had Dodd-Frank come along.
It's coming.
Exactly. We've had a lot of different changes that have happened in the industry, and I'm a big believer in one voice. We need to have one voice that goes out there, and we're all part of the real estate community. Mm-hmm. I don't care whether you're insurance, you're a real estate broker, you're in mortgage, you're in title, you're in any aspect associated with it.
It's the same consumers.
It's the same consumers that is correct. And so it's important to have that single voice. I'm a big believer in the one voice. And as Rob was saying, when I looked at TREPAC, it was the ability to get involved with an organization that has the ear of the government and the officials that are going and making rules that can sometimes really hinder what they're trying to do for the consumer. And ends up being, we talk about adverse consequences. They try to do something right, ends up being the consequence changes right there.
Yeah. All right, Tim O'Neill, I know that you are now a big TREPAC contributor, and you work with TREPAC. Tell us about your work with TREPAC.
I do. I volunteer on the TREPAC committee to help educate realtors about why they should contribute or invest in TREPAC, and for all of the reasons that Rob and Chris have already stated. But it's important to me to contribute to the efforts and invest in TREPAC, because I see, I work with this community. I'm trying to build my business in this community.
Right.
And so I make it my business to do everything I can to support them, whether it's in TREPAC and helping them advance their industry, because, I really feel like it's important for me to be a giver in this equation and not a taker. And if I'm looking for referrals from these people, then I will support them in every which way that I can. And I try to. I really do. Make it a point.
Well, I love that. And, I really loved going to the state and even national and seeing that the dollars that are contributed to TREPAC really have worked, because all of our legislators that represent Texas are very familiar with the issues that affect real estate, the real estate industry. And that for me was just so exciting to see that it works. It really works. And that was my buy-in. It's something that I've contributed to for years, but I finally bought in when I really saw that it works. Because you look at some of the other states, they don't have the legislators supporting some of their real estate issues, some of their homeowner issues, like we do.
That's for sure. And we were together, most of us, on that trip. And I think Rob said it very well. He said, if you don't have a seat at the table, then
you're on the menu. Exactly. We'll say that in concert.
That was well said by Rob.
And it's amazing to watch some of the things that we've achieved. At the national level, the MID is under attack again, and we have to fight that, which is the mortgage interest deduction. They want to take that away from us, and that's going to be hurting consumers. So again, it always felt good to be on the side, because we're not doing stuff for ourselves.
Right.
We're doing it for our clients. And then I don't know that everybody gets that piece. They think, we're doing stuff to help our realtor community. I mean, in the long run, it does, because it helps homeowners.
In the long run, it helps homeowners to be able to buy more houses, which helps our industry. But in the short run, it's helping consumers. It's about those consumers.
Because some people,
we realtors have to own houses too,
and
right? We're consumers too.
And some people could not afford a house if they didn't have the I can't say it now, deduction.
The deduction, that's right.
So you can clean it up later on, can't you? Right.
Well, and one of the things also, we talked about unintended consequences. We see that quite often. Unintended consequences in regards to the legislature, what they end up putting out there, and what ends up getting implemented. Dodd-Frank is a good example. And in fact, Barney Frank has been on the record as saying it has not been implemented the way it was intended or the way it was written. And so if we're not involved, as Rob was saying, we're on the menu. A lot of us were on the menu because we were not involved in that transaction, in that process.
So for an affiliate, Tim, this is for you, for an affiliate who wants to get involved in TREPAC, whatever their business may be, I know lenders are pretty familiar with it and title companies are pretty familiar with it, but even other ancillary businesses, the people who go out and inspect homes, home inspectors and other ancillary businesses to the real estate industry, how would they get involved?
Well, I think the most common path is to join HRER as an affiliate member, a national affiliate, which is, I think that investment was under $200. I mean, it was hardly it was the furthest thing from a shakedown. It was a very fair amount.
Yeah, and everybody knows who HRER is.
Yeah, I mean, it was very accessible.
Very good.
From there, you actually have to apply to serve on these committees. And I put in applications and told them a little bit about myself, and I was selected for a couple of them, and so I was very happy with that. And any home inspector or foundation repair, any affiliate involved in this transaction is.
I would think some banks would want to get involved.
I think so too. I mean, we're all in this transaction together, and I think everyone should make every effort to contribute at every level. And we were talking about some of these scary things and how we really are. And if y'all remember back in the '90s, remember the imputed rental value. They were going to tax you on what you could rent your house out for, even though you're not. They were going to say if you
some
could
legislation
rent your house
out there to change
some of these stuff
rental.
is bizarre.
Yeah,
so it's nice to have somebody out there advocating and saying no.
Well, we do have issues mobilization at Texas Association of Realtors. Also, we keep up $4 or $5 million and everything just to protect them, because every legislative period they come up where some small city is trying to have people register rental homes, and we fought it in Houston. A couple of them didn't get protected quickly enough because Rosenberg now I think has rental registration, which is not really, they don't really care about the renter. They just want revenue.
Right. Absolutely. All right. We'll be right back in just a minute after a word from our sponsors. And Joe, we're going to get to you at the top of next segment because I want to talk about some of the business interruptions that we see for the industry. So we'll be right back here on Houston Real Estate Radio.